think saying there's a mass interest in Battlefield 6 would be a huge understatement. The peak player count on Steam has already passed Call of Duty, and it's just a beta. Unfortunately, I've been taking this retreat from reality where I forgot that EA is in charge of Battlefield's game, and I was humbly brought back to earth with this article from Insider Gaming. Battlefield is aiming to become an annual release within 5 to 6 years. So the general manager of Battlefield's franchise wants EA to be an annual title. Now, he stated EA's goal is to have 3 studios working on the Battlefield franchise on a 3-year cycle so they can release annually. Unsurprisingly identical to Call of Duty's annual release model. It only took 2 weekends of success for EA to remind us how EA EAs. And this pivot comes to such a surprise because EA was just bragging about having 4 fully resourced studios working on Battlefield multiplayer, single player, and a new Battlefield experience. We're taking more time in the dev cycle. But now they're saying they want less studios on a 3-year cycle so they can eventually lead up to having an annual release. Now, I'm not trying to be overly negative about a very positive experience that I've had. After the past few weekends, I think Battlefield is back in true form. 2042 was an absolute flop and Battlefield 5 was not received very well. They haven't made a good game in a long time. Now, I'm not much of an FPS player. For those of you that are new to the channel, I play a lot of different games. But Call of Duty specifically burned me out of the FPS genre. And we're seeing Battlefield kind of already start to mimic some trends from them as far as like having a free-to-play battle royale, which could be releasing in Q1 of 2026. And I'd imagine that there's probably going to be some form of like cross progression or some type of like way that those two tie in together, which would be very similar to what Call of Duty is doing. However, people kind of just wipe their ass with Call of Duty's annual title and essentially just use it as an attachment unlocking simulator where people have to buy the multiplayer to go with the battle royale because they make a cycle of the meta. But people will buy the $70 or $80 premium title because it lessens the grind or the need to go onto the store and buy the blueprint for the meta weapon, which somehow always ends up on the store. And I think that Battlefield, DICE, EA, everybody's all aware that a lot of Call of Duty refugees that are tired of that are now going to Battlefield to seek a better experience. And while that causes a lot of animosity between Battlefield players and Call of Duty players that have certain expectations for the game that they're just simply not going to get because it is Battlefield and it is not Call of Duty, I do think that DICE, EA, and all of the dev studios have a big decision to make. And that's how much are they going to cater to this new audience of Call of Duty players and what are they going to take from Call of Duty. And I think that the option to play like smaller segments of these maps and smaller, more intimate battles with like more of Call of Duty domination feeling game modes, that's not a bad start because it doesn't affect the whole community of Battlefield players that want to get into helicopters and repair tanks and revive people and play the objective. And they don't want to YY slide cancel 360 no scope all over the game. It's like they gave COD players a separate sandbox that has like Monster Energy drinks and drywall to punch. But that is really just a positive way to put a welcome mat in front of your game for all of the Call of Duty refugees. That's a better way for your community to still thrive, maybe separate a little bit, and maybe even ease some of the Call of Duty players into playing different game modes. However, stealing their business model that I would say most Call of Duty players strongly dislike, I'm going to guess that's not going to go over very well. At least not from most of like the level-headed players that understand that more does not mean better. And that Battlefield 6 was created by a huge amount of effort that burnt out a lot of the developers. So now you're going to cut that exhausted team into itty-bitty little first-grade pizza party slices. Now, on a positive note, this is something that will happen in the far future. It looks like 5 to 6 years is what Insider Gaming reported, which is hopefully a lot of time for them to read the room and maybe look at what in the recipe of Battlefield 6 is making it successful. As a pretty much retired FPS player that is so sick of FPS games and all of their BS, this game's actually fun. I look forward to playing this game with my friends and my brother and hop on and just like mess around in like an open sandbox and kind of just like not have to sweat, not have to worry about anything, just hop in a tank and blow stuff up. It looks great, it plays pretty well, but unfortunately we were reminded this weekend that it's still made by EA. Before the video ends, I just wanted to thank all 40,000 of you that have been trusting me with a little vouch of tapping subscribe. Most of my videos are in that tall vertical form on the shorts feed, but I would absolutely love to keep making videos like this. So if you guys enjoy it, definitely let me know, show some support. And just remember, I am not an FPS player. I am not a Battlefield player. I play a multitude of different games. I'm definitely into the variety. But when a game is good, a game is good. It's just I do wonder how long the stretch of Battlefield being good will be.